This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Broadcast all the way. We'll sit and spin. Today we've got 10 rock bands and how they got their names. Sit and spin coming up after emails on our Men's Room fill-in-the-blank question. If I could go back in time, the one decision I would change is blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Anyone else have Cher stuck in their head? You're about to.
If I could turn back time?
If I could turn back time.
Well, I didn't.
No, you will, because it's been stuck in my head, and I really want other people to share in the misery, because I really hate that song. Hello, Rose. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, boys.
Hola.
So my story is I started a job probably about a year ago, and about 6 months in, I always had a crush on my boss, and I was going to transfer, and we all went out to the bar, and I was like, if I'm going to shoot my shot, this is probably a good time.
And I'm guessing it worked out for you.
It absolutely did. And then I ended up not transferring because the company I'm at right now gave me a promotion.
Oh, they did?
I didn't know what the promotion was until I already accepted it. They turned me into a supervisor. So me and him now sit, our desks are right next to each other, and we have to sit there all day with each other.
Well, I mean, is it awkward? Do you guys talk about it? Have you done it again?
It is incredibly awkward.
For you or for him?
For both of us.
How long ago did you guys hook up?
Probably about a month ago.
All right, so that should ease up over time.
Yeah. I mean, is it something you would do again?
Maybe.
Okay.
Was it good?
But it was great. We pulled out all the stops because I was moving.
That's why it's awkward. Uh-huh. You guys threw down, right? I get it, man. Like, I'll never see you again. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do the crazy stuff. Then it's like, hey. Well, look, I'm telling you, I'm not 100% on this. Inevitably, it's going to be a good thing, at least for a while.
Were you, either one of you, seeing other people?
No.
All right. So it's two single adults doing what single adults often do.
But now you know how freaky the other one is. So let me ask you this. If you had the chance to sleep with them, all right, you didn't think you were going to transfer, but you're just going to sleep with them. If you knew that you'd be sharing an office, would you have been, say, less adventurous in the sheets?
Yes. Way less.
I wish you could describe what was going on in there, but I don't think that's probably radio friendly.
I have an idea in my head. I mean, look, I hear what you're saying, but I would think on some level it's a good thing. Like, you know what I like, I know what you like. We're obviously attracted to each other. And if you're both single, like, hey, if you get that itch, man, you know where to find me.
Whose place did you go to?
Mine.
And so is your place equipped for freakiness, so to speak?
Equipped for freakiness. I'm going to put that in a real estate listing.
That is the best description, yes.
It is.
All right. Was he a bad boy?
If I walked in,
did he get punished?
If I walked into your bedroom, would I be able to see any of these things out in the open, so to speak?
No, most of it's put away, but there is a stripper pole in the middle of my room.
All right. Well, that's a positive. I'm sure you practice on it if it's still up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, did you used to dance?
I used to work at a club, but I was security for a year. And then the girls bought it for me when I quit as a going away gift.
Oh, that's cool.
But you put it up, so they got you the right gift.
Did you ever beat a guy's ass?
Oh, yeah, a lot.
How many guys did you beat up?
Like on an average night, how many guys do you think you had to deal with?
I probably only dealt with one a night, because for some reason guys think it's okay to smoke cigars in strip clubs.
Huh. Why would you can't smoke meth, you can't smoke cigarettes.
They're from out of town.
Yeah, but again, like most places that are no smoking have signs, right? Clearly marked like no smoking, whatever the case.
Yeah, we had a bar next door, so we'd get really hammered guys that came in.
Okay, that makes sense.
Good times.
Bar next door, huh?
So would you say that by a strip club where they don't serve any alcohol, would you say that you were the one who initiated the freakiness?
I think it was mutual.
Yeah. Okay. So he said.
People are making predictions about what they think may have happened between the two. I read the text line, and I'm tracking with them.
Was anyone tied up?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Was anyone bad that night?
Yes.
Was it a bad boy or was it a bad girl?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Look, man.
Did you?
I'm sorry, but you broke the ice in a way where it's like, dude, I'd pull him aside and be like, look, ain't no need to be awkward because where the freak runs deep, man, we understand. But more than that, more than just saying, hey, I know what you like. It's you like how I interact with that. And let's face it, man, when you're throwing deep, like that's what you want. I mean, hell yeah. You need
the best part, though, is that everyone at work thinks we hate each other because we don't talk to each other.
Well, if you could go back, would you not have done this?
If it was a regular hookup, I would have done it.
But
because he's your boss.
But under the situation, no.
Yeah, no.
Then it wasn't that good. I'm sorry. Even if it was outstanding.
Oh, does he look up at you and smile every once in a while?
We were giggly for a couple weeks, and then I became supervisor.
Oh.
So you guys just playing it professionally cool? Is that more of the reason you're doing that?
Yeah, it's not against the rules to date other coworkers, but it's very much frowned upon, and obviously we don't want to ask, like, oh, are supervisors allowed to date? Because that would kind of give it away, considering we're the only two supervisors.
Can you ask, listen, we're not going to date, but we're going to F each other just ragged, right? We're not dating, we're not in a relationship, but we're having lots of sex.
I don't see that anywhere in the handbook. So.
That's all I'm saying, man.
The handbook. What if they had a convention of the supervisors in your company and you're all going to go down to Las Vegas, Nevada next weekend? So it's just you and him traveling together. Would this be...
I would probably drop some hints.
Okay. I mean, situationally...
Right.
The
so
situation
you got to go out of town,
change.
yeah. All right. You're doing a professional thing, but is it something you would like to do again with this dude?
Yeah, I would say yeah.
He'd like to do it with you, too. I've never met the guy, but I can tell you that. Just look.
Are you better looking than he is?
I would say he's an 8, and I would say I'm a 9.5.
Okay.
All right.
I would get your 17.5 powers together.
Where are you going to find a 10 at? If he's 9.5, or if he's an 8, or whatever. It's still an 8's pretty high of a number.
Yeah, damn right. If it's on a 1 to 10.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 being like Calvin Klein model.
All right.
Then an 8 is ranking really, really, really high. You could be a Sears catalog model. I'm like, hell yeah.
Is there a big age difference? Is that why it's awkward?
7 years.
That's not bad. That doesn't mean anything. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, I don't know.
I wish you luck, man. I'm telling you.
I don't know if I would regret it. I would just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, I would not go back in time and change it. It is what it is. It's an awkward office space, but like everyone's had a moment in the office where someone you work with, it's awkward. But I would wish it was for that reason.
Mm-hmm. I've never walked into someone's bedroom and seen a stripper pole.
I have not either, to be honest with you.
I would be like, whoa, it is on like
Ted, of course you have.
It's on like Donkey Kong tonight.
Well, sometimes people do it just for physical fitness.
Yes, they do. Apparently it's
I know.
an incredible workout.
That said, if I walk into your bedroom and it's there, I mean, hey, maybe you're a personal trainer.
Did you know it was there?
Be good.
Did I know it was there? Good question.
Because I can just hear you go, ha ha!
All right.
I mean, it wasn't like the first time I had met her, so I knew she had trained in the pole dancing arts.
All right.
But yeah, it was,
the pole dancing.
It was my first time playing a home game there. And
it's not Lord of the Rings, brother. He is good with the pole dancing arts.
Did you get a private dancer?
I did.
Did you throw ones in her
have to.
Did you throw ones in her bedroom?
No, honestly, after a while, I was just like, all right, enough of the dancing. Like,
let's get right.
Wait, this is the point, is that this isn't an actual strip club. I'm here to hook up with you.
I'm here to have sex.
You could have a beer, and you could throw ones.
Right.
You could do all the things you couldn't do here.
You could. But after a while, you're like, it's 3 a.m. Like,
I'm not on cocaine.
Stop dancing.
Right. Like, I'm going to fall asleep soon.
I need a sleep aid. If I could go back in time, the one decision I would change is playing 206-421.
That makes me sound bad, but it was just late. I was just like, okay, great. You have a skill set. Like,
that's great.
It's 3 a.m.
That's great.
And if not, no biggie. But can I sleep in the bed?
Right. I'm tired.
Because I've been sitting on the bed for like 90 minutes now.
Somebody here says, would Thrill hook up with the producer of the Men's Room? Mike, you down?
You know what? Yeah.
All right, then sure. Mm-hmm. Mike's going to be a bad boy.
I don't think that she's just saying, hey, look, I wouldn't have shot my shot. I thought I was leaving the company.
Totally
and
understood,
then the next day, it's like, oh, actually, you're going to stare at this person across the desk from you every day of the week. Like, all right, maybe, probably wouldn't have done it then.
But even like she said, though, it's not so much that they did it's to the extremes that they did what they did.
All right.
Right. But to me, I'm like, look, but if you know that about each other and you're both down with each other and both of you left, say, satisfied customers, like, go back to Taco Bell, brother. You know what I mean? Get that fourth meal. Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey, liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
So, I caveat this to say that I grew up loving fire engines, and of course I was a little kid in the days of the show Emergency that was on TV. And from that early age, I wanted to be a firefighter paramedic. That was it. That was my dream. And fast forward a whole bunch of years, I'm in the very last class that I need to get my paramedic certification. And I let my then wife talk me into moving out here so she could be closer to her family, and that dream went away.
So you didn't graduate?
I did not.
She couldn't wait one
firefighter for 22 years, but I never quite made the paramedic.
She couldn't wait one class. You said you had one class left to get the certification?
One. That's correct. It's about 8 or 9 classes of different things, from different trauma things to advanced cardiac life support, that kind of thing. And I was in the very last class when we moved.
How much longer would that class have taken from the time that she said she needs to be closer to her family, which, by the way, is already a red flag in my opinion, but how much longer would it have taken?
Well, red flag, definitely. That's why she's an ex now.
Yeah, well,
but
yeah.
It would have been probably 4 months of class time and about a year of clinicals.
All right, let me ask you this, because Steve and I had this conversation outside. You can always go back and, whenever we think about how do we ask this question, what kind of responses are we going to get, or the story is going to be boring, whatever our process is that we go through. One of the things we thought is that, well, I should have never gotten with that fill in the blank because I paid child support, whatever. Well, but at the same time, you have 2 kids.
Right.
And if you did not have that experience, no matter what the relationship was, you wouldn't have 2 children that you love and that you support.
But you might have kids, but it's not the kids you've got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. So in this instance, you're obviously calling us from here. So have you enjoyed your life here since you moved all those years ago? And now that you live, because this is why you are in Washington. This is why you're in the area. So not that you wouldn't regret the decision to maybe stay and finish that class and then move out here.
Right.
But all things considered, has your life not worked out in the Pacific Northwest, or is it something that you're glad that you live here and not where you did prior?
Oh, sure. It's worked out. I mean, I was in the military at the time. So I transferred out here and I finished my career in the military and still stayed a volunteer for a while out here, but it just was never the same.
Yeah, I got you.
No, I don't regret all those parts of my life. You're right. I've got kids and grandkids, and I wonder how much of that stuff wouldn't have happened if that part of the life that far back had changed. But
that's the irony of all these things. Like, if you are somewhat satisfied or happy where you currently are, even all the dumb decisions you made and all the things you hate if you subtracted those from your life, do you think you still end up here? Because I told Miles earlier, it took me a long time to make any kind of good decisions, and I'm about 60-40 now, right? In all honesty. But if I made better decisions when I was younger, when you should and all this kind of thing, I probably don't have this job. Or if I do, I got nothing to talk about.
Well, if you applied yourself, you could have been a doctor.
But I don't want to be a doctor. I would have a job I hate, I think. I mean, that's the honest to God truth. By failing through life, I found a place that makes sense for me to be. I could always talk. It's whether or not anybody wants to listen.
But I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things. Like, it's the answer to the question. But right, almost anything in life, right? Like, none of the answers are going to offset what you just said.
But again, right? Like, only if you're happy with where you're at, right? Because, I mean, 15 years ago, probably about 20 years ago, I'd been like, I'd have changed everything. It's just worked out that my motivation to try to do well in any particular career, this one specifically, was because I wanted to put as much distance from all the other things I'd done to try to do, kind of balance my karma. You know what I mean? So I got lucky. I know, but 20 years ago, I'd have been like, anything, name it. Name any decision I made. You asked for lemonade instead of Coca-Cola. I should have gotten the Coca-Cola. I mean, you name it. I've lucked out that this has worked for me, but I'm at that point. I don't know if everybody's at that point. You know what I mean? But yeah, depending where you are, like, any decision, name it. You want blue or red Kool-Aid? Whatever I said, give me the opposite. Because whatever I did with the other one, I messed up. That's just how I rolled, man. Knowingly or not. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right. Again, not disagreeing with anything. I'm just saying, that guy answered the question of the day, and then you go, well, you did get kids and great. And he's like, well, sure. So I'm saying, like, I don't know. I think if you look at retrospect, like, I'm with you. I think about stuff all the time, and I go, well, I like my job. I like the Northwest. But obviously, things would have gone different. Like, if I had studied harder and gone to college. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But also things would be completely different.
Yeah. You just don't know where the only thing is, it's just the unknown.
It is. So but I do think
the unknown is the problem with the whole theory, because maybe it would have been worse, maybe it would have been better. You don't know.
Mm-hmm. If I could go back to med school, gotten hit by a car on the way there.
Right. Or you could go to med school and still hate your job. You still hate your job.
Yeah. I
mean, there's a lot of people out there, it doesn't matter how much you get paid or what your status is. If you don't like your job, if you don't like who you work for, if you don't like where you're working, if you don't like where you live, if you don't like your relatives, your family, your wife, your kid, If I could go back in time, the one decision I would change is blank. 206-421-ROCK.
What else? There's a decent amount of people, too, like we like our jobs, but I know I have plenty of friends that aren't unhappy in life, but like their job's just their job.
Right.
Right? Like the good times of the evening or the weekends with the family and this and that. Like they just go to work because it's something they found, they're good at it. Right.
I have two friends that I graduated with who are now doctors. Mm-hmm. One is a surgeon, one is a pediatric doctor.
Kids, right?
Yeah. They're the only two people that I know who have been married more times than me.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That seems to go with that, though.
In our age group.
Right.
I know people who got together when they were 16, and as soon as they got out of high school, they got married. And we all thought to ourselves,
stupid.
Golly. And now they're still happy. They're still together. They're still the same happy couple they were. Mm. Everyone said you're too young, or you're too this, you're too that. Then I've had friends that have waited, and they were divorced like 9 months. They got married when they were 35, 36, 9 months later. Well, I'm going to wait for the right... dude, what do you mean? I just was at your wedding. Yeah, it's over.
God damn, I just got your gift sent, man.
Okay, I guess I can come out and stay.
Who wants the blender I just sent?
If I could go back in time, the one decision I would change is blank. 206-421-ROCK.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Bro, gnarly. What's up, Taylor? Dude, that nerd in his electric hybrid totally blew the light while texting his yuppie friends.
That's so bogus, bro.
Are you hurt?
Yeah, like I can't move my hips, bro. I think I broke my pelvis, man. Dude, no way.
Taylor, you need to drop a dime and talk with the lawyers at the Advocates Law Firm.
No way, can't afford that, bro.
Your crotch is broken, man, and they don't earn any money unless they win your case.
Dude, no way.
You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
KISW proudly presents the Roast of Steve Miggs. Going down Friday night, April 15th. Steve up on stage, taking it. And probably giving a little, too. When you're getting roasted, are you allowed to...
Oh, yeah.
Are you allowed to shoot back at people?
Hey, you go last.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Go up there and give it to everybody. So once you take it all in, then you give it all out. You got to remember, not only is Miggs going to be roasted, every single person on that stage is going to get it to some degree, the roast of Steve Miggs. So we promise you that. So Kwame Casino is the place. Tickets are on sale now at KISW.com. And don't forget that we'll have live music as well from Glenn Cannon and The Damage Done. All right, our question. If I could go back in time, the one decision that I would change is blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Raymond. Welcome to the men's room.
Marijuana and Madams.
Hola!
So I just got back from Klamath Falls and turned you guys on, and I went, hey, this story fits right in with my trip.
Nice.
Uh-oh.
Exactly. So back in 87, 88, I hooked up with my best friend, like my brother's wife, when he went to prison. And that's about one thing I would change. It turned out all right because he divorced her. I got the well-deserved beating that I deserved, and while I was down in Klamath right now, we sat around for a couple hours and just chit-chatted about old times and smoked a bunch of weed.
It's amazing how time takes care of that.
So you guys are still buddies?
We're still best friends, man.
How long did he get sent away for?
He was down for 2 years, I think, and I was with her for like 3 months.
And did he know when he was incarcerated that you were with his wife?
Yeah.
Did she say that she did not want to be with him when he went away?
Exactly.
All right, so he knew that they were broken up, but...
Yeah, but still.
Right,
not cool.
Okay, all right.
Well, no one's going to argue that.
Now, what about her? Are either one of you in contact with the woman still?
No.
Did you do you bring that up when you're smoking weed?
Nope, that's kind of an unspoken thing.
Okay, I'm just curious. Yeah. Hey, whatever happened to whatever.
Yeah, like I said, I got the well-deserved beating that I deserved, and, that was that.
Now, but you only were with her for 3 months.
Yeah.
So that means that 19 months later, he gets out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that he does he look for you?
It was a couple months afterwards. We knew it was a mutual thing, and so we just met up and did what needed to be done.
So you weren't at a party where you knew you might run into each other. You guys made it a point to meet at a certain location, just be able to throw down.
Exactly.
Huh. Okay.
That's a very well-organized revenge tour.
It was, man, and I felt so bad for doing it to my brother, man. It was terrible.
Yeah, so you're still buddies now, which is amazing, but you're still buddies now.
Did you just let him beat your ass, or would he have been able to beat your ass anyway?
It would have been a good fight, but I just let him go.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how that one's going to work out. You go, just hit me.
I need to take this, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And one thing, too, is now I got to go to Yakima Walmart and compare it to the Klamath Falls Walmart.
Ooh. How was the Klamath Falls Walmart?
Well, Ted got his beer stolen from there, and it ain't got no better.
Yeah, different experiences, but yeah, beer got stolen, but other than that, it was fine.
Okay. My sense of the Yakima Walmart is that people feel more in danger. You know what I mean? Like Klamath Fall, all right, they stole your stuff, but maybe they didn't stick you up. At the Yakima Walmart, at least the experiences we heard from people ever since you opened a can of worms is like, you're playing with fire.
Maybe the sign should say, come for the excitement.
It really should.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, crap.
Yeah.
There we go. Hang on.
A man required open surgery after weatherproofing spray foam was inserted into his penis, according to a medical case report. The man, age 45, presented to the emergency department of a hospital as he was finding it difficult to urinate and also had blood in his urine. The patient said that he had been inserting various objects into his penis as an aid for erectile dysfunction. One of those objects had been a straw that was attached to a can of weatherproofing spray and the foam inside. However, on that occasion, the man's partner accidentally pressed the can's button, spraying the foam down through his penis and into his bladder.
So wait, their intent was just to, detach the straw, I guess?
Correct. In the days that followed, the man developed symptoms such as difficulty urinating, pain when urinating, and blood.
But he had a weatherproof penis.
He waited 3 weeks to go to the hospital. 3 weeks. Doctors then conducted a scan of his abdomen and pelvis and found large pieces of foam stuck inside his bladder and penis. One portion of the foam in his bladder measured roughly 11 by 4 by 6 centimeters.
Jesus.
Sometimes in cases like this, they say, medics can carry out what's known as an endoscopy, in which a tool would be inserted into the patient's body in order to extract the material without surgery being needed. However, the deepness of the foam chunks, as well as the fact that the man's penis had narrowed, meant that an open cystotomy... A surgeon basically accesses the urinary tract via a cut near the belly. That was required. The patient was left with a catheter in place. It was removed a few weeks later. At the time of the case, it was noted he may undergo another surgery to repair his urethra. But as they say, it's not the first time the doctors have reported cases in which patients have inserted various objects in that. We go through it a lot with...
yes, we do.
With Profile.
Yes, we do.
But you don't even need a doctor's appointment. You can just go to the gas station and buy the knockoff ones.
Yes.
I was like, what is going on out here?
I don't. It is amazing. So, doing research for Profile This, you'll Google certain terms, and I'm like, why are there this many stories? Like, for what I asked for, there should not be this many stories to go along with that. And all of them, whatever you choose to insert, and wherever they choose to insert it, the fact that it's on Google and it's a news story tells me you regret this. So even when I do the multiple choice, you got to understand that I'm not coming up with these things in my own head. I have a list of things. God, I can read to you just some of the things. These are all regret, all right? So these are not case specific. This came from a medical journal. Say things people that got stuck in their ear, right? All right. Things that got stuck in their nose, which is mostly kids. Rubber snake, aluminum foil, all this kind of thing. Hard poop under her nose because it was a little girl. Things that got stuck in people's throat. And then you get to the dicey stuff. Things that got stuck in people's penises. Plastic fork, spork, 4 plastic spoons, a marble, a screw and piece of pen, tape and paper, chopsticks, beads on a string, clothing price tag, end of a rat tail comb, 2 tweezers, a headphone cord that they said they inserted to prevent wet dreams, nails, a hex key, a dart, a bread twist eye, a piece of metal, etc., etc. The vagina, spiked penis ring, 2 halves of a broken colored pencil, 2 halves of a broken color. I like to point out it's a colored pencil. Disposable razor.
You gotta have 2 halves, right? Because it broke. Then it's like, let's put them both in.
A hairbrush, a barbell, a pill bottle, batteries, shampoo cap, a stuffed unicorn, the husband's wedding ring. I think we know what went wrong there. Glow-in-the-dark ball, and then the rectum. Bottle caps, plastic soda bottle. Was, quote, joking around with friends when the joke was taken too far, and a can was put into his rectum. A Click gel pen, bronze handle of a tool, they don't know what it was. 2 batteries, glue bottle. According to this person, quote, went to sit down in the bathtub and sat on a plastic bottle of bubble bath that went into his rectum. I'm sure that's exactly what happened. Flathead screwdriver. What follows a flathead screwdriver? The Phillips head screwdriver. That's right. A toothbrush case, a pump action plastic alcohol dispenser, a bar of soap, a squishy ball, a stress ball, a billiard ball. I mean, it goes on and on. Magic dice, as in the dice you use for the game Magic. The head of an action figure. They do not specify which one. We had one guy who put the entire Buzz Lightyear up there. And amazingly, got stuck because the wings popped out.
Right.
All of these are regret. If you could go back, don't do it, man.
I think the one thing there's a couple things in my life, and this might sound strange for a lot of people, but I think when I went and got my vasectomy, looking back now, that's something that I really regretted. Because you don't know how many times you're going to be married. You don't know how many kids you're going to really want. So when you kind of do that, it's a permanent thing. And at the time, I had a child that was dealing with a lot of medical issues.
Right.
So a lot of the time was spent in the hospital. When my second child was born, she was healthy, but that didn't mean my first child still wasn't experiencing a lot of those medical problems. So I was still doing that. And it was overwhelming as far as the amount of medical bills. It was overwhelming trying to take care of, and it just seemed like as soon as baby number 1 popped out, we got
pregnant again, right?
You got pregnant again.
So I'm not having sex for the most part. I'm in the hospital a lot. I'm taking care of 2 kids, and I realized the financial burden. I was just barely getting by, and I thought to myself, there's no way I could possibly afford to have another kid. And if I do, I don't know that I am so exhausted that I won't be able to. So basically every single thing that every parent goes through when their kids are young. It wasn't really different than anybody else's scenario, other than the fact that, it's time consuming, it's tiring, it stretches your budget,
sure,
and all these things. But not,
and that's not a good. That's if your kids are healthy.
But as much as I love my kids and I enjoy their time, if I had 2 more kids, I would be, as happy as I am now. You know what I mean? I just have more joy and more fun and have more people to hang out with.
Right. And when you got it, you were still with the wife.
My first one.
Mm-hmm. Like, I know a lot of people have vasectomies. I think that almost, like, to me, that doesn't seem that crazy. That seems kind of the positive angle.
Yeah.
Like, nobody gets married and goes, I wonder how much longer till we divorce.
Right.
Sure. And you don't know that going in.
Or who gets a vasectomy at like 18? Like, I
was 31. So at the time, that was relatively young.
Relatively young.
Even my doctor gives me the, I'm going to try to talk you out of the speech before.
Sure.
So at that point in time, I should have had a pretty good idea that, I was making a decision that a lot of people have come back and said, all right, well, whatever.
But you still don't think that way. You can tell anybody anything, but if your mind's made up, your mind's made up. Like, I hear you. You might even be right, but that's not what I'm feeling. And then maybe a couple years later, you go, God damn it, you were right.
Well, and listen, I mean, that conversation's awkward either way. Right? Sometimes you just can't envision having a baby with a certain person. Or somebody right? Vasectomy or not, you're just like, I don't know if that's in my future.
And you don't know what your future holds. You just assume at the time, like you said, that you're going to be with the same person forever. Especially when you have 2 young kids and all that.
And my buddy, he had 4 kids in 6 years. And he's like, yeah, I got a vasectomy. Well, he's like, I'll tell my wife all that. He's like, no. He's like, 4 is plenty. I'm like, no one can argue that, man. I'm like, you got 4 kids. And again, in 6 years. So it's just, and I want to say their oldest is
I would have liked to
10 years old.
I think it would have been fun if I had a boy. So not that I have any problem with my daughters. Love them.
You can't predict that.
That's
you know what I mean? It's still drink more pineapple juice or whatever they say, or jump up and down when she's pregnant. Like, who knows? But I mean,
I thought pineapple juice, but it has nothing to do with conception.
I know, but that's
I just know as much as I love sports,
it has nothing
it would have been
to do
fun.
with it. Right. It has
it's actually the safest form.
I get out there on the golf course.
1 of 2.
Why do we always have Hawaiian pizza before we hook up? Because I care about you.
That's all, man. Safe sex. Eat more pineapple. You'll understand when you get older.
If I could go back in time, the one decision that I would change is blank. 206-421-ROCK.
I know.
I know. That's always a weird conversation, too. I'll just leave it at that.
What's that? As far as are they commenting after the fact? Like,
correct. Like, oh, all right. Yeah, thanks.
It's kind of crazy.
And then sometimes it's like, yeah, I had a long weekend.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, you could tell. I've been told.
Well, you drink a lot of whiskey this weekend? How do you know? Oh,
right.
Damn, man. I'll start watching my diet a little better. But, baby, I know you like Greek yogurt. That's all I'm eating. Last 6 weeks, nothing but Greek. What's your favorite? You like the key lime? That's what I'm going to eat. Mm-hmm. I will eat that, man. Hey, if it makes a difference, for the sampler platter, as it were. Well, you like tater tots? I'm eating tater tots.
Man, I was talking to a buddy about this kind of topic this weekend, right? Because we were talking about, choices you made, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And then it's a bad movie, but there's a movie with, I want to say, Jim Belushi.
All right.
Where, the whole thing is, he always thought about
baseball.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know the movie.
He always thought about when he was a kid, and he's in high school or something, and he doesn't get this game-winning hit in this game, and his whole life changes. Not that his life's terrible. So anyhow, he goes into a bar. It's like one of those movies. His car breaks down. The bartender's like, I'll make you a cocktail, whatever, and I'll basically reverse what happens. So then his life it's the woman he thought he wanted, and the job he thought, all this and that, and then in the end, he's kind of like, crap. I don't know that I want it this way.
Right. So
it's just this conversation, look, go to any bar on any Friday night, no offense, you'll find some dude talking about a high school sport. Look, you know what I mean? If I had hit this or done that, it's like, You don't know what it would have changed your life for. What's it called, Mike?
Mr. Destiny?
Mr. Destiny. Yeah. So it's funny, like, we were talking about this today. I was like, literally, my buddy and I were having this conversation just the other day.
It's like the movie, was it Drumline, maybe? There's a badass linebacker playing on the team. He's going, this guy is going to the NFL, right?
Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about the program.
The program, right? He's the guy.
I feel like Drumline really focused on the band.
It did. I just thought there was a goddamn football player playing, man. But yeah, same thing. But the guy, he gets like that severe break in his leg, and it was just kind of a heavy scene where it's done.
Yeah.
Because all your eggs went into this basket, and you're like, brother's got nothing to fall back on, man.
Right, because they're talking about you can't even read. He's like, I can read. It says Adidas.
And it's amazing how many people do fall back on high school, though.
Well, and for most people, that's the highest level you ever play.
Right. If it's sports, that's probably the highest level you're going to play, right? And if you got lucky, it's funny because I'm watching the tournament this weekend, and I'm thinking most of these guys are not going to play in the NBA. But that said, I'm watching them play, and it's like it's still going to be so badass for them, like 30 years from now. Like, hey, boy, talking to their kid, like, oh, dude, we made it to the Sweet 16. I played at a school called St. Peter's, right?
Oh, correct.
Never played in the NBA. I've been an accountant my entire life. That's all you know me as. But, dude, I'll show you the tape. That was me. I got the game-winning shot, right?
Yeah.
Anything. I'm like, that's kind of badass.
There was a 30 for 30 about the Little League team from Kirkland. And I want to say that was like the 80s or early 90s. But, you're right. Like, those stories will be told forever.
How about that giant dude playing for Duke? I want to say he went to O'Day. Because our babysitter came over, and she's like, and this was maybe 3 weeks ago, and she's like, I met him. I'm like, I didn't realize you went to O'Day. Right?
Oh, he dominated last year. The problem is you couldn't go see the games.
Right. He was that kid. All right. So I never connected the names, and she goes, I got to meet him once. She plays girls basketball at her high school, different high school, but she goes, we kept hearing about him, so they took the girls' team to go see him play for O'Day, and she's like, it was a joke. If you see the size of this dude, you understand, in high school, no one is going to compete with this guy. And she's like, he was real nice, man. Like, gave me his phone number, not in that way, but to talk basketball and all this kind of thing. And so I'm watching him over the weekend, and I'm like, that dude's going to be in the NBA.
Right. There's certain people you can tell.
Barring injury, that guy was so dominant. But it's just cool because you're like, this is, to his parents, he's like the dumb knucklehead that used to eat his boogers or whatever the story is, you know what I mean? To the rest of us, I'm like, that's a specimen. They're probably like, dumbass Bobby. Mm-hmm. Good thing he can play ball.
Ryan Castle coming up. We're going to sit and spin. We've got 10 rock bands and how they got their names. You are listening to The Men's Room.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.